Hello everybody, welcome to my channel, That Model Railway Guy, and welcome to my very first ever video review. And as you can see, we're kicking things off today with the brand new Hornby Ruston Hornsby 48DS diesel locomotive. And that's of course in the green works livery and comes with the flatbed wagon as well, which has extra pickups in it, which is great. So yeah, as you can see, that's the front of the box there, but that's not what we're all here to see. So if I move that out of the way, let's take a look at the actual loco. And wow, there you go. Yeah, it really is tiny. If you thought Hornby's Peckets were small, this takes things to a whole new level. Now, I got this for £72, which is about the standard price for these at the moment. And also, just a quick word before I go into some of the detail. The weight on this is pretty good, actually. It's definitely not all plastic. There's definitely some metal on there somewhere. I'm not sure if it's just this sort of chassis bit towards the bottom here or if some of the bodywork is actually metal as well. But it's got a good amount of weight to it. That's really, really good to see. And that's become sort of fairly standard with Hornby's smaller locos as well. As I said, the Peckets had a lot of die-cast metal on them. Yeah, let's take a quick look at some of the detail on this loco. So here's a bit of a closer look at the loco, and the first thing I want to mention is this wonderful lining that's all over the loco. It's on the cab, it's on the side of the body here, it's even on the top of the body here, on the front of the cab and everything. It's really, really well done, really well printed. It's this lovely sort of white and black kind of line. And yeah, it's so well done, and it's so small I can barely see it. The buffers aren't sprung, they're just sort of static, but that's okay. That seems to be a fairly standard thing that Hornby do with their smaller and cheaper locomotives now, and to be honest, I don't particularly mind that anyway. Also on the front of the cab you have this wonderful little Ruston logo, which is just above the grille, and yeah, that logo is really nicely applied. There's also another logo on the side of the cab as well, which is equally well applied. Speaking of the cab, I'm not sure if there's any cab detail on the inside, but to be perfectly honest, it's quite an enclosed cab. Even though it's got those windows in there and it's so small, it's really difficult to kind of see inside properly. So I'm not sure if there is cab detail. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't, but it kind of goes to prove that if there isn't cab detail, then perhaps it's not needed anyway, because I can't really see inside there. But yeah, overall this is a really nice and really well detailed model. Moving on to the connection between the loco and the wagon, as you can see we've got this bar here that goes between the two instead of the standard couplings. Presumably that's to take the strain off the wire underneath. You do get a set of extra couplings in the pack, so I'll show you a close-up of those now. Interestingly, the loco has NEM pockets, but the wagon doesn't. It has an older type of coupling, which is interesting. And then underneath you can see we've got the tiny little wire which transfers the power from the wagon wheels to the locomotive. Now, Hornby say you can run the loco without the wagon, and if that's true, that's absolutely fantastic. I'm very much looking forward to testing that later on, and I'll be really interested to see as well how easy it is to disconnect the loco from the wagon, so stay tuned for that in a bit. The flatbed wagon, meanwhile, is very simple. It's very nice as well. No complaints from me. The only thing I would say is that the pickups underneath, when I got mine out of the box, I did notice that none of the pickups were actually touching the wheels. So if you get one of these yourself, it might be worth checking that just to see if you need to make a quick adjustment. But aside from that, it's a very nice little wagon. Okay, so let's get this loco running. And if I just switch on the controller now, wow. This might be quite difficult for you to see on the camera, but if you just take a close look at the wheels here, and you can see those little holes in the wheels are going round ever so slowly. And yeah, that's a pretty impressive crawl there, which to be honest, you want from this kind of loco. They didn't have a particularly fast top speed. I think they could only go about 10 miles an hour or something flat out. And so yeah, you really don't want this rocketing around your layout. So a good slow crawl on this is absolutely crucial. All right, let's turn the loco up a little bit and just see how it copes. Okay, so it jumps into life a little bit. It sort of goes from the crawl and then jumps straight into action. But that's pretty nice and smooth, and there's not a lot of noise coming from the loco. I'd say it's just the wheels turning around, not motor noise at all. Let's turn it up a bit more. And yeah, it's pretty much silent. Like there's no noise other than, as I said, the wheels going round. Okay, we'll bring it back down to that crawl again. And yeah, there is just that little bit where it sort of goes from crawl mode to running mode almost. And so yeah, if I just bring it back up again, you'll see it kind of jumps to life. Yeah, there. And then bring it back down again, it sort of stops and crawls again. So I don't know, maybe that'll be the sort of thing that eases out once the loco's been running a bit more. But yeah, let's get it down onto the layout and we'll see what it looks like running around Pickwick Yard. So here it is, making its way into Pickwick Yard now. The Ruston is down onto the track, and as you can see, it's just as happy down there as it was on the rolling road. And yeah, it looks really good trundling around Pickwick Yard. A small layout like this is absolutely perfect for this kind of loco, and so yeah, I expect we'll be seeing a lot more of these on micro layouts in the very near future. By the way, if you're interested in how I built Pickwick Yard, I recently did a video where I showed how I put the whole thing together, so if you're interested, yeah, definitely go and check that one out. Back to the Ruston though, as you can see, it's quite happy running around with that match truck attached to it, which is providing the extra pickups. Although I have noticed that every so often the wheels will stick on it, which is interesting. Now, Hornby say you can run this without the wagon and the extra pickups, of course, so I'm going to put that to the test now because I'm really interested to see how well it does, especially over Insulfrog points. So I first saw these locos on display at the exhibition at Alexandra Palace earlier this year, and while I was there I got talking to one of the representatives from Hornby and I asked him about these and said, you know, how well do they run without the wagon? And he said, oh no, it's absolutely fine, if you don't want to run it with the wagon then you don't need to. And I was a bit sort of sceptical and said, yeah, but what about over Insulfrog points? But fair play to him, he was absolutely adamant that you could run this over Insulfrog points without the wagon and that it would have absolutely no trouble at all. So let's put that to the test, but before we put it to the test we need to separate the loco and the wagon. Now, Hornby don't provide any instructions on how to do this, but luckily it's fairly simple, it's just a little bit fiddly. Firstly, we start off by removing the wire from underneath, and that just simply pulls out. It should be fairly easy to remove, just as I say, a little bit fiddly, so you might want to try doing this with tweezers. Once you get that out, just put it to one side, but make sure you don't lose it because it is very small and very delicate. To remove the wagon from the bar, all you need to do is just pull very gently and it should pop off without too much trouble. I was actually really quite surprised at how easy it was to get it off. As you can see here, that's because it's not a NEM pocket, it's a different type of larger connector that Hornby have used on this wagon for some reason. And then to remove the bar from the loco, you just pull again. I have discovered that you need to be quite firm with it. I'm always worried about breaking the NEM pockets, but if you do just give it a firm pull, then it should come out without too much trouble. And there you go, that's the whole process on how to separate the wagon and the loco. So we have the Ruston back down onto the layout, and now comes the moment of truth. How well will it run using just its own pickups? So here we go. Is it going to work? And yes, it does. It's running really well, actually. It's fine on a straight piece of track. But yeah, as you can see, the big test is going to be, can it handle Insulfrog points? Now, on my layout, I've got some particularly nasty Insulfrog points. These are old Hornby set track points from years and years ago. They're probably about 20 years old, and even then I think some of them were second-hand, and there's 3 of them in a row here. So if the Ruston can get over these points with its short wheelbase, I'll be really impressed. So yeah, let's give it a shot. So here it comes now, and... oh, okay, wow. That's really impressive. It just breezed through them as if they weren't there. That's amazing. Yeah, I'm a bit lost for words, actually. I sort of thought because these were quite old points with a lot of plastic on them that it might struggle a bit more than usual, but actually, if it's dealing with these okay, then if you've got more modern Insulfrog points which have less plastic on them, you should be absolutely fine. Yeah, I'm really impressed by that. I'm really impressed by this loco overall, actually. It's got great detail, it runs really well. A couple of minor niggles with it, but yeah, generally, for the price, it's a really great little loco. And yeah, I think I'm going to have a lot of fun shunting with it in the future. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did like it, then please do subscribe, leave a like, and let me know in the comments what more you want to see from this channel, and if you'd like to see anything else running on Pickwick Yard. So yeah, I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.